The next piece that we're going to take a look at is ownership, because a lot of times people talk about when I evaluate somebody, or some of the emails that you were sending me in advance of this session, when we asked what are some of the challenges that you face, a number of people said we have curriculum, we have a lot of trainers out there. We can't always monitor to see if they're staying, if they have fidelity to the curriculum, right? If they're delivering the training program as it was intended to be delivered. And for a long, long time, the dominant school of thought was that strict fidelity to the curriculum was essential. As researchers started to take a look at this idea of what is the impact on making adjustments to the curriculum that are still faithful to the learning objectives, but allow the presenter to actually deliver it in a more authentic way, the idea of strict fidelity to the curriculum started to give way to a new concept called adaptive fidelity. So, adaptive fidelity is the idea that we're going to stay faithful to the learning outcomes, the learning objectives, the whole point and the idea behind the training program. We're going to use the same activities that we're supposed to be using, but we're going to put our own personal style and our own personal spin on this. We're going to bring in our own stories. We're going to bring in maybe something that's going to connect with this local audience a little bit better when it comes to an example that I'm going to give or a data point that I can offer. So the idea of adaptive fidelity is really important. And keep in mind that this is also really closely related to item number one, the subject matter expertise, because we can't really adapt. We can't tell the right stories that are aligned with the learning objectives unless we're confident in our mastery of the subject matter expertise. So ownership doesn't mean that we're going to toss out something and do our own thing. I'll give you an example. I was doing a train the trainer session. This is a few years ago now, and one of the presenters felt that he knew the topic so well that he didn't need to follow the materials that he had been given. Instead, he decided to give a lecture to the younger generation about how they needed to pay more attention to more experienced professionals so they could actually pick up some of the subject matter expertise. Had nothing to do with the curriculum. He wanted to own it, but there's no adaptive fidelity. There's no fidelity at all, right? So we don't want when we talk about ownership here, we're not talking about tossing out what's written so that we can give our own presentation. What we're talking about is being able to adapt what's written in order to be more authentic in the delivery. So strict adherence without any sort of personal or localized examples can lead to what's called superficial implementation, right? So we're so stiff. We're trying to really adhere to the materials as written, and so we start to read, and sometimes we just read, and there's no authenticity in that delivery, and that will impact a learner's ability to process what's being shared, as well as their confidence that this person actually knows what they're talking about.